The Carolina Panthers this year are going to be worse than the 2016 Cleveland Browns. And that's saying something because the 2016 Browns went 1-15. The Carolina Panthers may be the first team in NFL history this year. I promise to God I'm not trying to be funny. They just might go 0-17. I don't know how you Panthers fans can watch this team consistently on a week-to-week basis without wanting to drink some bleach and off yourself, but I cannot watch an entire Carolina Panthers game. I just can't. This team sucks at everything. They need Jesus to fix this franchise, man. They need a new owner. They need a new head coach. They need a new offensive line. They need a new defense. They need a new everything down there. It's like, I was watching the Carolina Panthers today, and I was asking myself, like, JT, why am I torturing myself like this? You know, like, Bryce Young showed me that there's no reason to tune into the Panthers anymore. This team is just terrible at everything. And they got a really difficult schedule because they're going up against a lot of teams that are going to have really good defenses. So it's hard to see the Panthers offense having too much success when they're going up against so many elite defenses. Imagine what's going to happen when you play the Saints again, or you got to play the Buccaneers. You know, two of the better defensive minds in the NFL, Todd Bowles and Dennis Allen. Bryce Young just might get broken in half. The Panthers are bad where Ike Ekwonu, this dude was a former first-round pick. He was one of the worst offensive tackles last year. He still is bad. He was allowing guys to blow past him. He was whiffing on blocks and assignments. Like, this team sucks. It really does. I mean, if you're a Panthers fan, I got a lot of respect for you being able to put yourself through the mental torture that is watching this team. This team is so unwatchable with how bad they are. Like at halftime, it was a blowout. These games aren't even close. They're already decided once we go into halftime, it's a blowout. Dave Canales, after the game, talking about we made some improvement. What was the improvement? You didn't get blown out as bad as what you did week 1 against the Saints? I mean, come on. This team is bad. Really bad. They don't have nobody on their defense that can get consistent pressure on the quarterback. They lost their best player on defense in Derek Brown, who's out for the season a week ago. The Panthers, their season not only is over, but they're going to be in for one of the worst seasons that we've seen in league history. This team is a complete joke. David Tepper just needs to sell the team and stop torturing Carolina Panthers fans. Like, if you're a Panthers fan, you need to protest with how bad this team is. I promise to God, I was watching this game against the Chargers, and I was literally asking myself, how do Panthers fans do this shit? Because once I got into the third quarter, I turned the game off, and I just put on something else. I put on Raiders versus Ravens. Because the Panthers are just a complete shit show. They need Jesus to save this team. They don't need a new owner. They need Jesus. They need to go to church, get some holy oil, and Dave Canales needs to put some of that holy oil on that play calling sheet. He need to put some holy oil on Bryce Young before he takes a snap. I mean, they need to put some damn holy oil on that whole entire defensive line. J.C. Horn got burnt by Quentin Johnston for a touchdown, man. Quentin Johnston scored 2 touchdowns in the first half. Are you kidding me? J.C. Horn, you were supposed to be a shutdown corner, my dude. This team just sucks. It sucks. I don't know how you watch this shit if you're a Panthers fan. And you know, as much as I get on Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, watching the Carolina Panthers play the Chargers today made me glad that I'm a Steelers fan, because it is hard to watch Carolina. It really is. I'm praying for Panthers fans. Listen, if you're a Panthers fan, you got a reason to bandwagon another team. You got a reason to root for two teams with how bad the Panthers look on a week-to-week basis. There is no reason to watch Carolina unless you want to challenge yourself to see just how much mental pain you can endure with how much bad football you're going to see played. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. The Carolina Panthers are one of those teams that if you're a quarterback, you know you're about to put up great numbers on them. I remember when I was playing high school football, right? There were certain teams that we knew when we played them, we were going to run it up on them. We were going to have the chance to have a lot of huddle highlights. We were going to have a lot of huddle film with how bad these teams were. That's what it is when you play the Carolina Panthers. When you play Carolina, you know that not only are you going to get an easy win, but you're going to have an opportunity to probably hit some incentives on your contract when you play them. The Carolina Panthers are just one of those teams that you don't really have to game plan too much for. There's nothing to game plan for. They suck at everything. And as bad as what Bryce Young is, the rest of the team is just as bad. The best player that they have on offense that can actually get some yards is Chuba Hubbard. If you ask me, if you're Dave Canales, if you're not going to bench Bryce Young, make Bryce Young line up at wide receiver and just run wildcat for the whole entire game with Chuba Hubbard. He's the only reliable offense that they have. As a matter of fact, Chuba Hubbard is the Carolina Panthers offense. The Carolina Panthers are going to be the worst team in NFL history this year. They're going to be worse than what the 2016 Cleveland Browns are. I promise you this. They can't do anything right. If you're a Panthers fan, I really want to ask you, like, how do you watch this team? Like, give me a guide of what you do step by step to get through 4 quarters of watching Carolina Panthers football, buddy, because I'm never going to watch this team ever again for the rest of this season. I don't need to see any more out of Bryce Young. Bryce Young has broken me because I defended this dude so much relentlessly, and just to see him play the way that he did today, throwing jump passes, having no awareness. Like, there was one play he ran out of bounds. He was running towards the sidelines. I'm screaming at the TV, Bryce, throw the football. Bryce, throw the football. Bryce, throw it out of bounds. He gets smacked, man. You can't put that on the offensive line. You got to throw the football away. You got no awareness, my dude. Like, I hope that Bryce Young can turn around, get traded to a new team, a better situation. But right now, man, it looks like the Carolina Panthers got a dud on their hands. Just an absolute dud. Like, man, I just think about C.J. Stroud, and I know Carolina Panthers fans, I know they get upset when they think about how they just drafted Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. Because regardless of how bad this team is, C.J. Stroud, there are certain throws that he could make with the situations that Bryce Young was in today that Bryce can't make because he can't see in the middle of the field. Every time he throws in the middle of the field, it's an interception. I promise to God. The 2 interceptions that he threw against New Orleans, the interception that he threw against the Chargers, he threw the same way he did last week. It's over for Carolina. Like, they just need Jesus, prayer, and a lot of holy oil if they're going to find a way to turn this thing around. And it's crazy because I had this team winning the NFC South. Like, what the hell was I thinking? I just might have been high as hell when I picked this team to win the division. I picked this team to win the division like 2 straight years in a row, bro. Like, I'm done watching the Carolina Panthers, bro. Like, I just can't take it anymore. This team has really broken me. You feel me? I had so much optimism for what? For this team to look as bad as what they did? I wonder how they even have fans. I wonder how people even want to go to games to see this atrocity on the field. I see why tickets are so low. You got a Looney Tunes owner. You got a dud at quarterback when you could have had C.J. Stroud. And you suck at everything.